How's it going, all you beautiful people? I want to talk a little bit about Ascended Heroes because booster bundles are coming out on Friday, are officially releasing on Friday. Some stores are going to be dropping it this week, but official drop date is going to be on Friday. It's Tuesday as I'm recording this video, so it's 3 days later. And it is very interesting. So one interesting thing about Ascended Heroes is they did this waived release when they first got released. So we knew this was going to happen. When they got released, they said January, they're going to drop 3-pack blisters and 2-pack blisters. The 2-pack blisters got delayed. So when it first came out, they only had 3-pack blisters. So it was just a horror because they only had 3-pack blisters. And obviously it's hard to get product. So with only 3-pack blisters, you get 1 or 2 3-pack blisters if you wait in line all night. And then you can open 3 to 6 packs. Like that wasn't that much. It wasn't enough to really sustain the demand of Ascended Heroes. And then they said they're going to drop ETBs and Pokemon ETBs, I believe. And then they dropped some poster collections, pin collections. And then it comes this month. And they're going to drop booster bundles, which is very important because Pokemon loves reprinting and printing booster bundles. I feel like that's their new way of getting packs out there. If you compare it to Prismatic Evolutions, they printed Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles insane amounts. Even today, they're still printing Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles. Like if you wait in line at Best Buy, you'll get Perfect Order and then a Prismatic Evolutions booster bundle. Like Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles have just been printed so much. But it's very interesting because one other interesting thing I just thought about is they dropped Ascended Heroes, had this wave release. We knew what the wave release was going to be like. And then they dropped Perfect Order. And then so Perfect Order got dropped, Ascended Heroes got dropped, a new set Perfect Order got dropped. I know Perfect Order is not that popular, and then Ascended Heroes booster bundles got dropped. So booster bundles came after Perfect Order got released, which is so interesting, which is why I think people are starving for Ascended Heroes. Ascended Heroes prices are going crazy because I feel like people can't get their hands on Ascended Heroes. And with Perfect Order not performing that well, not having a huge demand, and not many people wanting it because they've been able to get it, rip it, and enjoy it, Ascended Heroes is the one that everyone just wants. And there isn't enough out there, so these booster bundles will make a difference. Before we talk a little bit about Ascended Heroes, I want to talk about a little bit about comparing Ascended Heroes to Prismatic Evolutions. I looked before filming this video, and Ascended Heroes ETBs are going for basically the same price as Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, and that is just insane to me. Don't get me wrong, both are amazing sets. Ascended Heroes will do well over time. I'm not saying that it won't. I'm not saying that. I'm not one of those people that's almost delusional thinking that Ascended Heroes is going to hit MSRP. Can it happen? Of course, but the way that the market is going, if nothing else changes, and knowing that the printing facility is not going to be out there until later next year, or partially used until later next year, and because Pokemon is printing 100% capacity. And how do you know that Pokemon is printing 100% capacity? If you really think about it logically, why would Pokemon do this waived release of Ascended Heroes if they weren't printing at 100% capacity? If they had room to print more whenever they wanted, they would have just done all these Ascended Hero products in one go. But they did it in waived releases, I feel like, because they had to think about printing Perfect Order, reprinting certain stuff, printing Prismatic Evolutions. So we know that they're also printing 100% capacity. But comparing Ascended Heroes, going back to the point of comparing Ascended Heroes to Prismatic Evolutions, the ETBs are the same price now. And Ascended Heroes, one very important thing is Prismatic Evolutions is going to go out of rotation next year in 2027. Ascended Heroes, they're going out of rotation, going out of print in 2028. So they have 2 more years. And not only that, based on reports, part of the printing facility that Pokemon purchased, and it was the largest commercial lease purchased in the United States last year, so it's a huge plot of land, is going to be operational. A part of it is going to be operational next year. And guess what? Prismatic Evolutions will be out of rotation, out of print before that printing facility or part of that printing facility is going to be used, whereas Ascended Heroes is still going to be in rotation. And with how much Pokemon loves printing prismatic evolutions. I would not be surprised if they spent the same amount of printing capabilities to print Ascended Heroes or try to print it to the ground. A lot of people say to the ground, print this to the ground. I wouldn't be surprised if they spent all their capabilities to print Ascended Heroes to the ground in the next 2 years. And with the printing facility coming out, they're going to have more capabilities to print Ascended Heroes. And with the printing facility, I'm not saying that it's going to make a difference in the market. We don't have enough data to make that conclusion. I know everyone has different thoughts. A lot of people have this fear-mongering thing where they're trying to scare people that Pokemon market is going to crash and things of that sort. One thing is for sure, a lot of things today are going to be out of print, out of rotation by the time the printing facility is fully operational. So, I mean, you won't be able to get it anyways. They're not going to go back and print an old set because Pokemon, I don't think they're smart enough to not do that. Like if they understand that if they printed a base set booster box, that the whole Pokemon market would crash and then they would lose a whole bunch of people, and they're just not going to do that. So one thing is a lot of the things today are going to be out of rotation by the time the printing facility is fully operational. But another thing is we don't know how much more they can print. Like, let's just take hypothetical numbers. And I know that Pokemon does print more than the numbers I'm going to use year after year, but just to really keep it really simple, let's pretend that max capacity that Pokemon can print is 10 million a year currently. Like I said, it's more than that, but it's just a easy example, easy number, 10 million. That's the max capacity they can print a year. Let's say the printing facility allows them to now print 12 million instead of 10 million a year, a 20% increase. Do you think that's going to do much in the market? No, I think the demand is so much higher than the supply that if they're able to print 20% more, that's not really going to do much. Because if you really think about it, if you went to every single person that you know and said, how many Ascended Hero ETBs would you buy for MSRP? I'm assuming most people would say a very high number. And even if they don't say a very high number, almost everyone in the Pokemon hobby would say at least a 1, 2, 3, like... Everyone wants Ascended Heroes right now. Doing a 20% increase isn't going to do that much. But if the printing facility allows them to print from 10 million to 50 million, that will make a difference because that's a lot more product that's going to be available on the market. We'll see how much demand grows, but if it's that extreme, yeah, it's going to affect the market. Is it going to affect the long term of Pokemon products? I really don't think so because eventually Pokemon products do go out of rotation. They do go out of print. You can't get it anymore. And when that happens, typically products do go up over time. A prime example was about 3 years ago when Pokemon was really slow. I know a lot of people weren't in the market back then, but you could get Fusion Strike booster boxes for $90 everywhere. People were flash selling it. You could have bought 1,000 Fusion Strike booster boxes for $90. It wasn't like you had to go on a hunt to get one of them for $90. No, you could have gone somewhere and bought 1,000 for $90. You could have bought 1,000 151 UPCs for $70, $80. You could have bought 1,000 Lost Origin ETBs for $30, 1,000 Silver Tempest ETBs for $25. So there was this time where you could have bought so many stuff for so cheap, and guess what happened? A lot of people did buy for that cheap, but 3 years later, Lost Origin ETB went up, I don't know, 6x from that price. Silver Tempest went up 5x. Fusion Strike went up 11x. 151 UPC went up 12, 13x. That's with things sitting on shelves. 151 UPC is sitting at Costco for a discount because we all know Costco sells things for cheap. Distributors begging people to take these products so that they can sell it. And they were selling it on sale so that people can take it. And with all that, Pokemon products still went up over time. So I'm not saying that even if they are able to print from 10 to 50 million or 10 to 50 billion that it's going to affect the long term and Pokemon is dead, Pokemon investing is dead. No, I still think things will go up over time. But the whole idea of Ascended Heroes ETBs dropping $50 and instantly going to $150 2 months after they got released, I think that's not as likely. But we have to wait and see. Like I said, we don't know the printing numbers. If it's only 20% more, that's not really going to make a difference. But comparing Ascended Heroes and Prismatic Evolutions, I personally think you can argue that Ascended Heroes is a better set. There's a lot It's a lot fuller set. There's Pikachu, there's Dragonite, there's Gengar, there's Charizard. There's so many Pokemon that people like. A lot of Grail Pokemon too. I'm not saying Ascended Heroes isn't a better set than Prismatic. You can argue that, and that's totally fine. I think that most people would say Ascended Heroes is a better set than Prismatic, but I think Prismatic is a better buy because it's going out of print 1 year earlier. They're both fantastic sets. Prismatic might not be printed as much in the next year because they have to move on eventually. They have to start printing Ascended Heroes. They have to start printing Chaos Rising that's coming out. They have to start printing the 30th anniversary products that's going to come out later this year. So there will come a time where, I don't know, like you won't be able to get Prismatic Evolutions products anymore. I don't know when that's going to be, but based on things that went out of rotation this year, a lot of those products you weren't able to get ETBs in like the last year of the life cycle. So we'll really see with Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions had a big ETB reprint. We'll see if they're gonna put more Prismatic Evolutions ETBs out there. But one interesting thing about, back to the main point, or back to the title of the video, where it's just clickbait. Like, I don't think Ascended Hero singles are gonna crash, but one interesting thing about booster bundles is they are ripped a lot more than ETBs because ETBs do hold a premium. For example, 151 ETB has 150% more packs than the bundle. It has 9 packs instead of the 6 packs of a bundle. 151 ETB goes for about $650 last time I checked. 151 booster bundle goes for about $180, $190. So you can get 3.5 151 booster bundles for the price of 1 ETB. That's a lot more packs. That's 21 packs in the booster bundles versus 9 packs in the ETB. But that's just because ETBs hold a premium. And with the booster bundles, a lot of booster bundles are about to hit the market for Ascended Heroes. And I know that's gonna be a lot because today on Tuesday, in 30 minutes from now, it's currently about 5:30 p.m. that I'm filming this. At 6 p.m., Walmart is supposedly about to drop 200,000 units of Ascended Heroes booster bundles. And that's just a start. Like, we know Pokemon likes to print booster bundles. There's gonna be a lot of Ascended Hero booster bundles on the market, and people are gonna rip them a lot more than they're gonna rip ETBs, because ETBs, it's just hard to rip when they're so expensive and have the premium. You know that they're gonna grow with the premium, whereas booster bundles, they're pretty much worth the price of the 6 packs, plus maybe a little more because you can't weigh them and things of that sort. People trust them more, they're more liquid. But they're about the price of 6 packs plus a little more, whereas ETBs hold a huge premium. So we'll really see, because Pokemon loves printing booster bundles. There's gonna be a lot more packs on the market. People are for sure gonna rip a lot of booster bundles for the packs, which means that there's gonna be a lot more singles on the market. And we'll see what happens to the price of singles. I think they'll take a little bit of a dip. I mean, I could be wrong, that's just my opinion. But I think there's going to be more singles on the market, which will dip it a little bit temporarily. I do think in a year from now, all the singles will be higher, but the singles have gone crazy. Like, I've wanted the Forest Pikachu, and when it's $500, I was like, I can't get it. It's too expensive. It's like $1,000 now, and that's like having to a lot of Ascended Hero singles. They're just going like crazy. But I think, in my personal opinion, it will see a temporary dip because of the booster bundles coming out, more packs on the market. But long term, all these singles, Ascended Heroes, is going to do well over time. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about the booster bundles dropping. Let me know what you think about my whole take on Ascended Heroes not being as great of a buy, in my opinion, as Prismatic Evolutions, because of the whole doesn't have to hit the printing facility, because Prismatic Evolution is going to go out of print 1 year earlier. Let me just know in the comments your thoughts on anything I said, if you agree with it, if you disagree with it. I love to hear opinions of other people because I love the interactions I've had with people. I don't mind hearing other people. Like, I'm not always right. I just put my opinions out there on the internet and see. And they're based on things that I watch, things that I read, things that carry on, following the whole Pokemon market. And I can totally be wrong. These are just opinions based on facts that are out there, numbers that are out there, events that are going on. And I know that a lot of people have different opinions, but let me know what you think about anything that I've said, what you think about Ascended Hero booster bundles coming out, what you think is going to happen to Ascended Heroes, what you think is going to happen to Ascended Hero products, singles. And one crazy thing is Ascended Hero booster bundles are pre-ordering for over $90 right now on TCG Player. That is crazy. That's over $15 a pack. I don't know. I don't think they should be like that. That's for sure going to drop or I'm assuming it's going to drop when it officially gets released and everyone can start posting their sales on TCG Player, because when pre-release is out, only WPN stores can do it, so it's a very limited supply on TCG Player. But once the floodgates open where everyone can sell stuff on TCG Player, I think it'll drop. But like I said, let me know what you think in the comments. If you've enjoyed watching this video, and only do it if you enjoyed watching this video, because that's what I want to base my community on. I want people to be here because they enjoy watching what I have to say about stuff, hearing what I have to say about stuff too. Follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers because that's the first goal you need to hit partner program. I'm only 300 something, so I'm a long ways away, but I'll keep making videos to try to get there. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Everything is TCG Collectors House. Drop an upvote, drop a comment. It really does help with the algorithm of showing the video to other people. For example, on YouTube, if someone writes a comment, upvotes it, watches the whole video, it'll show it to someone else. And if that person does the same thing, it'll show it to someone else. And I can kind of see the snowball effect of how YouTube videos get put out there as more people upvote it and comment on it. So it really does mean a lot to me if you're able to do that. But if you're not, I really do appreciate you watching up to this far because it was 15 minutes of me just babbling. And it really does mean a lot that you spent the time to watch what I had to just say about the Pokemon market, about sending heroes and things of that sort. It really does mean a lot to me. So that's the most important thing. But I really appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.